Wow. Hello, everyone. This is the Zaraman Bolshevik. Today I'm going to talk about the Vesper 77, the new weapon that comes with the Warframe 1999 update. In my opinion, like it's not, of course, not a very optimal weapon. In my opinion, it's more like a LARPy weapon or anything. But at the end of the day, like it's still a very cool gun and it's very fun to play with. And it's really satisfying to land headshot with this weapon. So let's get into the build. The build that I'm showing here is a pretty standard build. You are focusing fully on critical damage, critical chance, weak point damage. Yeah, you only shoot like one bullet and you don't have a whole lot of fire rate. This is the single target build that I really enjoy using in the LARPy style missions. And sometimes I just want to have this with an invisibility frame or something because I'm just LARPy like that. Sometimes I just gotta take a break from blowing up like 300 enemies by tossing a few warheads in their general direction. You know, it's just simple fun. Like here's the general performance against like some of the strongest enemy in the game. You do have to keep in mind these are level 180, mainly bomb arc by the way. They actually have a pretty absurd amount of effective HP. And of course also the our beloved friends, the Eximus Corrupted Heavy Gunner. Now with a pet as a primer, you can easily hit into the millions with his weapons, like even fully armor ups. It does take a bit of time to ramp up, but once you get it going, it hits hard. Now one of the initial reasons why I put blast on this weapon is that I wanted to have a bit more, crowd clearing potential. After the blast rework, I start to really enjoy using sniper rifle. And I think I can pretty much do the same to this pistol because it has a lot of single target damage that can be transitioned to other kinds of damage like blast or gas. Now, in order to push this further, I decided to give my weapon gas damage by using Cyte-09's second ability. Now, can you see the problem here? Yeah, the damage is good, we got plenty of extra damage, but it's not proccing gas. The reason why is that our weapon only shoots like one projectile, and that projectile pretty much kills the enemy before they actually have a chance of proccing the status. It only have a chance of proccing the status on your weapon, but not the status on Cyte-09's second ability. I don't know why that's the case, so I'm gonna have to make a few modifications to this build. So what I essentially did is that I toned down heavily on the weak point damage by getting rid of pistol acuity, and instead I offer more multi-shot and more fire rate. You're gonna have much less of a chance to one-shot, more powerful units, but it will actually grant the second ability a chance to proc its status. Now this will grant the Vesper 77 a much greater ability to group clear, but here's the problem. Gas is kinda doo-doo against enemy armor. So what I decided to do is subsume the sniper rifle, since we are not using it anymore, for Ophanim Eyes. I'm not gonna explain how I got this ability, I totally did not sacrifice a pregnant woman. After being graced with one of the greatest sound design the game has to offer, with 243 strength, we should be able to strip armor fairly quick. And here's how it performs. Now, it may not perform as well as the very first build that I show, but in a real mission, there's going to be a lot of more rank and file enemies that are going to be affected more by the gas. It is pretty nice. Let's bring this into an actual mission to see how it really feels. Ophanim Eyes is a very underrated ability in my opinion because not only it strips enemy armor like passively, it also slows them down. So now, since we don't have sniper rifle anymore, you cannot throw ice bomb at enemies. You can slow them down by 90% just by looking at them. Of course, it still have some quirks you have to work with. For example, like it doesn't slow the enemies immediately, it slowly slows them down. I know that sounds kind of funny, but that's pretty much how it works. This subsume might be a bit counterintuitive with your wand, because what your wand does is that it grants you punch through, so you can just stay behind a wall and just shoot enemies, and the Ophanim Eyes requires you to have a direct line of sight with the enemies. But it still have a benefit because that punch through is gonna help you land multiple hits on multiple enemies. Now, another problem that you may have spotted me having is that giving your weapons more clearing potential means there's going to be less enemy to get weak point kills. So it's going to be more difficult to sustain your 3. But pretty much all I have to do is to hide behind a wall and just hit them through the walls. You know, Ophanim Eyes is not going to work, but since you are not going to use this setup into the thousands of levels anyway, you can still comfortably deal with enemies behind walls until your 3 is back up again. I almost forget to mention this, but I swapped out secondary merciless back with Deadhead because I realized that you don't have to reload weapons with Cyte-09. Silly me. As you can see, for a single target weapons, you can really comfortably maintaining enough KPI to have a net positive on your life support system. Cyte-09 comes with a very glaring weakness, however, is that he's a very squishy frame. So if you encounter entities like the Shock Eximus or the Fire Eximus, you are kind of screwed until you get rid of that status. You cannot do that while your 3 is on cooldown or still being active, so I slap on Rolling Guard. Rolling Guard is already pretty good. On this frame, it's going to save your life quite a bit of times. The Ophanim Eyes Subsume is also pretty funny against the Acolytes because it basically slows them to a halt. And as you can see, it has no problem dealing with Acolytes. Except, however, maybe Violence, because he basically disables all your abilities. And that can be a bit infuriating to work with. Now, one of the worst things you can experience as a Cyte-09 player is that you're gonna get caught with your pants down quite often. So, I don't consider this to be an optimized build per se, but that's pretty much how you make Vesper or any similar weapon fun to use. You can use sniper rifle, you can use AR, you can use pretty much anything. Like, I think Cyte-09 is a pretty great weapon buffing frame. Man, this started out as a Vesper video and I'm starting to get derailed into Cyte-09, so that's how I make the Vesper 77 fun to use, and you can probably try this out or make some modification of your choice and etc, etc. So, goodbye.
Your weapons make music, and the enemy calls for a song.
Life support has been cut off. They're trying to choke you out. Hold on. I'm sending auxiliary life support. Life support incoming. I've delivered a life support capsule to the area. Activating it will buy you more time. Get ready for a capsule. Another life support capsule is now available. Delivered another life support capsule. Operative is making progress. This will help our cause. When you are ready, go to extraction.
What you have learned here will